Hey all people on YouTube. Today is April 25th and spring is coming. Today I'm doing a little laundry. It's Monday and Nicole is at work. But I want to show you outside here what we did throughout the weekend because spring is coming, so we've been doing some yard work.
Doggies, you can come out here. You run out.
See, here is one of our projects. We are parked here and we got a little spot here where there are some mobile homes, and it's pretty neat because we have a little patch of grass here at the end. So we have turned that into a little doggy yard. So now from the back door here of our motorhome, from the garage, the dogs can run out themselves, and they really enjoy that, to be able to come out. And one of the projects we did here was that you can see we have a fence here, and all this was overgrown with weeds and all kind of stuff. So I removed all that. I simply talked to our camp host here, and she let me borrow the garden tools, and I simply ripped all that away and trimmed this big rhododendron. And then this little area, as we are staying here at least till the end of August now, I decided to put in some vegetables. So we have planted, here we have for some squash and zucchini, and I don't even know what these are. It's some Nicole bought. And we have tomato and cucumber plants here, and I have some planter sacks there that I want to plant something in that can grow up against the fence there, because we get a lot of sun in here in this area. So really nice. And Nicole has been doing flower pots, so let me show you those. And here's one of her little flower pots. And Nicole likes to cook a lot and use different spices, so we got some fresh basil here. And we have another little plant that we put up here where we have different kind of spices. And over here there are some more flowers. They're not in the right spot yet, but look at those. Aren't they just pretty? I've never seen these before. I don't know what they are called, but they are amazingly beautiful. These orange and red colors. And there's a little flower pot here. And then there's one more. We go over here. So make it a little bit pretty here for the summer. There's one too.
Hey dear friends on YouTube, I'm Torkild Brunsnes and I run the channel 6 Wheels Down. My wife and I are full-time RVers, and we live in our Ford Outlaw. Our goal is to travel to every state in North America. We travel with our 4 dogs, 3 Dachshunds and an English Bulldog. We have our motorcycles with us and use them to drive out to interesting places in every state. When you live in a motorhome, sometimes things break, and we will make videos of some of it. I also make music, and most of the music is recorded in the garage of our RV.
But there's another thing I wanted to show you, because now when spring is coming and we are starting to get a lot of sun, we have decided to put solar panels on the roof of our RV. So I have ordered a solar kit that I intend to install myself, and we just received it here Friday. So it's sitting in a box here. That's this Rhenology high quality premium solar module. It's a 400 watt module, and inside it we have the charge controller as well, and it's a model that also has Bluetooth hookup, so we can monitor how much power we use and how much comes in from these panels. We have more components sitting over here. I bought oil for the generator, because it's time to service the generator, and there is a complete service kit here. We have air filters and oil filters and whatever you need for the generator. And another little project here is LED light bulbs for the headlights of our RV. I would like to have some lights that are sharper, and these here should give 3 times as bright a light as normal. So that's good. And in the box down here, that's a new vent for the roof. It's like this you see up here. It's one of these smart fans, and we have one in the main living area that doesn't work anymore, so I want to change that out as well. So lots of projects coming. So the intent with the solar system is to install it right up here on the roof. Our roof is kind of sloped forwards because it's a very tall motorhome due to the garage here in the rear. But I want to install it up there, the solar panels. And you can kind of see there is a vent up there, and that vent goes down to here. Comes down here where we have a ventilation duct system going all the way up for the refrigerator. And inside that one, I intend to run the cables. I don't know if we can see it, but there is this black vent unit up there, and I can simply run the cables in from the solar system down through that duct system and into the cabinets inside the motorhome. And that's where I want to connect the power to the batteries, the cable that goes to the batteries. So here we have our refrigerator, and it will come in behind the refrigerator, these cables, and they will come down. I can take this off here and I can catch these cables, and I will unscrew the whole panel here for our fuses. It sits here. You can see we have all the fuses in there. And we have a little bulldog that is curious. She wants to be in the video. But behind here we have the 12-volt fuses. And behind there we have 2 main cables that goes out to the battery bay on the other side of the motorhome. But I don't need to run cables out there. I can connect in behind here. Then I have connected so the solar system will charge the batteries. So I only need to run here. And then our control panel for the solar system, I think I can mount on this cabinet, set it somewhere here so that we can monitor the charge and everything from it. So it would be a very nice install. But before buying solar equipment, solar panels, I kind of need to do a little preparation, because it's important to know how much consumption do you actually have, because the size of your solar panels will depend on what do you want to use them for. Do you want to run the AC units on it? Because if you want that, then you have to cover the whole roof with solar panels, and it becomes very expensive. But in our case, my plan is not to run the AC unit for it. I want it so that when we are on the road traveling from one place to another, we often have nights where we boondock and we don't have power hookup. So I need so that we have enough power to run the entire 12-volt system. You can see all the lights in the ceiling and so on, they're 12 volt. We also have for the refrigerator, that needs power as well on the 12-volt system. We have the heater. It's a propane heater, a furnace that heats up the motorhome, but it has fans, and there is a duct system that blows out the hot air all over the motorhome. I need to be able to run that as well in case it's cold. So these fans needs to be able to run as well. We have an inverter that converts 112 volts into the 110 volts into 12 volts, and we have some outlets that runs on the inverter that takes the 12 volts from the batteries, converts it back to 110, and we have a cabinet over there where we have all our charging stations for phones and camera equipment, our computers and so on. I would like to be able to run that as well. And then we have here we have a TV, and that's also connected to the inverter, so we want to be able to run that as well. So to figure out how much consumption we have, I need to count how many lights do we have all over the motorhome and how many hours do they run. And then I calculate how many watt hours will they use. The same for the TV, how many watts does it consume when it runs, and then how many hours do we run it. I will have to look at the lights. For instance, here I have a light fixture, a spare one. I always carry some spare parts, but here's a spare light fixture I have in case these turn bad on me. And on this one here I can actually see it's a 12 volts and 8 watt module. So each of these lights takes 8 watt when they run. And then I can say if it's running for 1 hour, if I have this one on for 1 hour, it would be 8 watt hours that it consumes. And I will have to add that up for all electrical components we have on the 12 volt system, and for the 110 volt components we have that are connected to the inverter that also runs off the battery. I will have to summarize that all up and estimate how many watt hours are we using per day. And that kind of decides the size of our solar system. So I'll show you how I did that. So why install solar power? Because we are most of the time hooked up at a campground where we have full power hookup. But look here, usually at a campground, when you hook up like this, we have our surge protector here, but you also have a meter. And on the meter here, it will take readings and you get charged for the power you use as well. So if I could reduce the amount of power we use from the campground, we will save money. So I would guess that out of all the power we use, I would say 80%, 90% perhaps of it comes from the 12 volt system. That's everything we use inside the rig. We have big components like the AC units. They of course run off the shore power, or if we are boondocking, I will start the generator for those. Then we have other smaller components like the coffee machine, my wife's hair dryer, the hair blower. Can she run them? Yes, she can. She can run them off the solar system as well. And let's try to take a look at how that all gets calculated and we get the right size of solar panels for that. I have just opened my computer here, and on my computer I have installed this software here called OpenOffice. And for my wife and I, it's a kind of a sport to try to keep costs down when we are full-time RVing. And here is one of the areas, a little tip. You can install OpenOffice. It's for free, completely free, no license at all. And it can do everything you do in Microsoft Office package, but it doesn't cost you a dime. You can even save documents in Word format, spreadsheet in Excel format, and so on. And as you can see here, you can make text documents, you can make spreadsheets, you can make presentations like PowerPoint, you can do drawing, you can do databases and formulas. It's very advanced. I've programmed stuff in it because I'm a software engineer as well, and I also have the channel Python Learning by Doing with Python programming, and that's where I have my income from. But I made a spreadsheet for my wife with, I think I have 3,000 lines of macro coding on top of the spreadsheet. It's very advanced. You can do everything you can imagine in this here. But I've created a little spreadsheet here just for our calculation of the solar system. So I'll just go and open that now. And here it is. And you can see I have some calculations up here for the solar system, the battery capacity, and then with
two options: lead acid batteries, deep cycle, or use lithium phosphate. That part I'll come back to later. But where we are now is I need to calculate our actual consumption. So I'm starting here. I typed in ceiling lights. Then I count how many ceiling lights do I have here in my main living room. I have 4 of those. I just looked them up. They are 8 watts in consumption a piece. And I estimate I run them for about 6 hours a day, 3 hours in the morning, 3 hours in the evening. That's approximately how much we run them per day. And by multiplying that 4 of them times 8 watt a piece times 6 hours give 192 watt hours. And that I need to do for all the different things we have in our motorhome running off the electrical system that I want to feed from the solar system. All that I need to estimate line by line. So there's a little footwork here to do to look up the power consumption. And you might have to take the covers off some of the lights to look at the bulb and find out what is the actual watt consumption to be able to do a real estimate. On the coffee machine, I bet it has a label and so on. So you have to go do the work and take these readings. And then we will summarize the watt hours per day. We will summarize it here in the bottom. And then I have to compare it to my solar system's capacity. I plan on getting 2,400 watt in. I have done some simple head calculations before I made this sheet, so I know we're not far off, but now we'll do it right so you can see how. But my solar system is four panels, 100 watt of effect a piece. That gives me 400 watt in total. And I estimate that they will capture full capacity about 6 hours a day in average throughout the year. That gives me 2,400 watt hours per day from the solar panels. So I need to make sure now that my daily power consumption matches that. It has to be lower than that. If I'm not totally there, it's okay, because you don't want to oversize your solar system, because the power you generate that you don't consume just goes to waste. So why put money into solar panels where the power just disappears from? You want your power consumption to be as close as possible to the generation of power daily. And as I'm doing this here, I'm just typing it into the sheet here right away. So we had the coffee maker, and that one was 1,470 watt. And I'll just keep going till I have everything like that.
And here we have Miss Ellie sitting on the couch. Hi Ellie. She likes when we're doing projects. But here's one of the lights. So I'll simply take the cover off and I'll take a look at the bulbs to see what they consume. And when the cover is off, they look like this. There are 2 bulbs like that. And if I take this bulb here, you can see it says 921 on it. It's hard to see perhaps on the camera, but it says 921. So it's a 12 volt RV bulb, model 921. Now I'll Google it and see what the consumption is.
And I just Googled a 12 volt bulb, the 921, and up here it comes. So let's try to go and see if we can get the effect reading on that one. So we need some data, and here it is. It's a 12.8 volts, 1 watt. So each of these use 1 watt. So per fixture we have 2. So each fixture uses 2 watt. So we can type it in as 2 watt. And we'll do that. So that's a light over dining table. There's one of those. It is a 2 watt fixture.
And here we have the coffee machine. We have one of these Keurig that makes 1 cup at a time. It runs only for 2 minutes maximum to make a cup of coffee. But I'll flip it over and see underneath what the consumption is on that one. And we have some of these zippers here on the bottom so that it doesn't fall over when we go. But here is the label, and it's 1470 watt when it runs. We also need to look at my wife's hair dryer. It's here, and I bet there is something on that one somewhere. Oh, yeah, and it's hard to see, but it says 1875 watts. I have now tried to summarize all the major components that I know will use a lot of power of the 12-volt system. I know we have a little more. We have some fans, if we have the heater on, that will run for 5-10 minutes once in a while, but not much. And we have all our phone chargers and so on. The computer, the laptops, they are calculated in. They are major power consumers. But I end up with, as you can see, 2,368 watt hours per day is approximately what we consume of the 12-volt system. And that means I need to match that. So I put some conditional formatting on the field. If I exceed what's up here, what the solar panel can generate, then this here would become red. So let's just try to do something here. If I said, instead of 8 hours here, if I said 12 hours, most likely it will exceed. Yeah, then it turns red. But we'll take it back to 8 hours, which was the reality. So we need about 2,400 watt. And I'm not too concerned if you exceed here a little bit what the solar panels generate. The worst that can happen is that if you're boondocking and you have used up your power consumption from the solar, yeah, then you have to turn on the generator for half an hour to recharge your batteries a bit. But that's really all that happens. So you can see our 400 watt solar panels match pretty well the power consumption of the entire 12-volt system here in the RV. Then the next thing we need to look at, that is how much battery capacity do I need for that? And I know there is a lot of discussion. There are several different types of batteries. There are the lead acid deep cycle batteries. That's what we have. And then there are the new kind called lithium phosphate batteries. And these are better batteries, these lithium phosphate, no doubt. The benefit of those is that you can run them down. They say, some people say you can run them down to empty. I wouldn't recommend that, because if you really read the literature about it, you can see if you run them under 80% charge, or use 80%, so there's only 20 left. That's where you should be. If you go below that, then you shorten the lifetime of these batteries significantly. So I wouldn't recommend going below 80% of charge on lithium phosphate batteries. But if I try to, let's focus on that one with lithium phosphate. If I want to have enough capacity to store all the power I generate off the solar panels so that I can use it when I need it, then I need to match at least 2,400 watt hours per day. But if I have 12 volts and 100 amp hours in these batteries, that gives me an effect of 3,600 watt hours. And I will only discharge them to 80%. That gives me an effective capacity of 2,880 watt hours. That's more than the 2,400. If I went to 2 batteries, just to try it, you can see I don't have enough. Now I'm below, so I can't store everything. So I need at least 3 lithium phosphate batteries to keep up. If I look at the same with lead acid, and I prefer to go that way because we already have 2 lead acid deep cycle batteries in the coach, and they are brand new, so I wouldn't want to change them out. Then let's see how much we need. They're 6 volt, and they are 2x2 in series, and that they are each 225 amp hours.
If I put 4 of those in, then I multiply these fields together. That gives me 5,400 watt hours. But here comes the disadvantage with the lead acid batteries. You can only discharge them down to 50%. Then they need to be charged again. So I can only effectively use half of it, where with lithium I could use 80% of it. But that gives me an effective capacity of 2,700 watt hours, which is more than the solar panels up here give me. So if I went down to 3 here just to try it, you see I'm below. So that's not enough. And the 2 I already have in the coach wouldn't be enough. I wouldn't be able to store all my power. So I would need 4 of those. And as I have 2 brand new ones already, I only need to buy 2 of them. Just for the fun of it, I did some calculation of the payback time of a system like this. And the system I bought with 4 solar panels and with a charge controller and with a USB hookup to the phone, the price of that was over Amazon $622. If I go with the lead acid batteries and buy 4 of those, they are $163.95 a piece. And if I buy 4, if I didn't have any, I actually do have 2. So in reality, I could go down here and say instead of 4, I only need 2 of them, and that's this field here. So I can actually say I only need to buy 2 of those. That's $327.9. If I had to go with lithium phosphate batteries, I would need 3 of those at a cost price of $874 a piece. So they are way more expensive. Look at that price difference. And that would cost me $2,622. So try to look here. When you make a solar installation, if you go with lithium batteries, the batteries are a way bigger investment than the solar panels themselves. Whereas now when I go with lead acid batteries, it's less. It's almost half of the solar panel investment. So financially seen, there is a huge benefit in my case to go with the lead acid batteries. They do have another benefit as well, because they also work when it's get below freezing point. Whereas lithium phosphate batteries, you have to insulate the battery bay because they can't handle temperatures below freezing point. Then they lose their capacity. So that's just something worth considering. But there's no doubt you get more capacity out of lithium phosphate, but it is at a much higher cost. If we look at the payback time, I have used here a cost of less electricity of 13.75 cents per kilowatt hour, which is the rate they charge here in Seaside, Oregon. So that's what I've used. Then my savings by generating all this power here, 2,400 watt hours per day, would be $1,204 per year. With my investment with lithium or with lead acid batteries is this amount plus this amount, divided by this here, then my payback time would be 0.8 years. So in less than 1 year, we would have paid back the solar system, simply in the savings in what we are getting charged for electricity at the campground. And if you go boondocking, of course, else you would have to run your generator to make that power. So that would be an actual saving we would generate. 0.8 years would it take us to save at home. Less than a year. Whereas if we went with the lithium phosphate batteries, due to the higher investment here in the batteries, the payback time would be 2.7 years, almost 3 years. So it's like a 1 year against a 3 year payback time. So in our case, it was clearly beneficial just to to add 2 more batteries to our power bank of the same kind, the deep cycle lead acid. That was the best business case in this case. Let's also talk a little about the inverter size. This motorhome that we have, a Thor Outlaw, came with a 1500 watt inverter built in. And I basically intend to use that one for now, but I might have to get a larger capacity one, because here we have to look at the daily power consumption. If my wife would like to use her hairdryer, it's 1875 watts, and that exceeds the 1500 watt capacity on the inverter. So that wouldn't work. So we will have to start the generator for her to use the hairdryer as it is now. If she wants to use that one, then we will need a bigger capacity inverter. We have the power stored in the batteries. We know that because it's included how much you use it. She would use 312.5 watt hours if she uses it for 10 minutes a day. But the problem here is the size of the inverter. So if that becomes an issue, we can still make coffee. You can see we are under 1500 watt there. But the hair dryer, that's the issue. And if she wants to use that one and she doesn't like starting the generator, then we will have to invest about $350 in getting the next step up in inverters. And that would be most likely a 3000 watt inverter with double capacity. But that's something we can do if we feel that it's necessary. As I see it, it might not be necessary. We can start the generator for 10 minutes while she blows her hair. But we have the battery and the energy stored in the batteries for it. So it's only a matter of investing the extra $350 for a bigger inverter. I hope this video was helpful if you're considering to put solar on your RV. At least I tried to show you how to calculate your consumption, get the right amount of solar panels on your RV, get the right size of battery bank, and then also get the inverter to fit the equipment you have with the highest energy consumption. And when you have all this in place, you basically know what to buy and how much it will cost you. And I hope you will realize that it's something that can have a really fast payback time if you are full-time RVing. So we have decided to go with it. In the future here, as soon as the weather permits, now it just started raining outside here in Oregon, but as soon as I get 2 or 3 days with no rain, then I will get on the roof and I will start installing the entire solar kit. So make sure you subscribe to the channel so that you get a message when I think that's a bell button you have to push there. Then you also get a notification when there are new videos out. So make sure you both subscribe, like, and also hit the bell button, because then you will get a notification. So I plan on getting some new videos out showing the entire install of this solar kit. So stay tuned.
Thank you for watching another video here from 6 Wheels Down. I hope you really enjoyed it. And for me to be able to continue to create content here for YouTube, please click the like and the subscribe button. That's the way you can help me to grow this channel and to continue create new content. Thank you for watching.